Heart-wrenching tragedy revisited, the shocking ways climate change is amplifying Pakistan's lethal floods. Picture this, a young grandfather desperately searching through waist-deep floodwaters for his 1-year-old granddaughter, Zara, after a ferocious flash flood ripped her away, her parents and 3 siblings already lost days prior. That's the gut-punch reality unfolding in Pakistan, where climate change is turning annual monsoon rains into recurring nightmares of destruction. And here's where it gets even more alarming. Despite Pakistan contributing just 1% to global greenhouse gas emissions, it's bearing the brunt of a crisis that threatens millions. But stick with me, this isn't just another climate story, it's a tale of resilience, injustice, and hard-hitting questions about who pays the highest price. 2 hours ago. Azadeh Moshiri, Pakistan correspondent. BBC. Rescue teams and grieving family members waded through knee-high waters, hunting for the remains of toddler Zara. She'd been torn away by a sudden deluge. The bodies of her mother, father, and 3 brothers had surfaced earlier in the week. It came out of nowhere, a torrent of water. I scrambled onto the roof and yelled for them to follow, recounted Arshad, Zara's grandpa, as he pointed to the muddy path where his family was snatched from him in Sambriel village, up in northern Punjab, back in August. They tried to reach him, but the raging flow was unstoppable, claiming all 6 lives in an instant. Year after year, Pakistan's monsoon season unleashes these catastrophic floods. This time, kicking off in late June, the deluge claimed over 1,000 lives within 3 months. At least 6.9 million people felt the impact, per the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA. This South Asian country is grappling with the ruinous fallout of climate change, even though it accounts for a mere 1% of worldwide greenhouse gas output. To capture the full scope, the BBC team journeyed from the lofty peaks of the north to the expansive southern plains over 3 months. In each region, climate change manifested differently. Yet one thread wove through it all: the most vulnerable, the poorest communities, endure the harshest blows. We encountered individuals who had forfeited their homes, jobs, and cherished family members, only to steel themselves for another round during the next rainy season. And this is the part most people miss: how climate change isn't just about melting ice or rising seas, it's about everyday people trapped in cycles of loss, with no escape in sight. Glacial outbursts and sudden floods. The flooding chaos erupted in the north, where global warming manifests in its most iconic guise across Pakistan's Gilgit-Baltistan region. Nestled among the towering Himalayas, Karakoram and Hindu Kush mountains lie over 7,000 glaciers. But soaring temperatures are causing them to thaw rapidly. The aftermath? Devastating meltwater accumulates into glacial lakes that can rupture without warning. Countless villages hang in the balance. This summer, hundreds of houses crumbled under landslides and flash floods. These glacial lake outburst floods, GLOFs, are notoriously tough to predict. The remote locales and spotty cell phone signals complicate matters. Pakistan, with help from the World Bank, is working to enhance early warning systems, though the rugged terrain often renders them ineffective. But community spirit shines through. Take Shepherd Wazat Khan, who awoke to a rush of icy water and debris. He dashed to a spot with stronger reception and alerted as many neighbors as possible. I urged everyone to ditch their stuff, abandon their homes, and grab their families, the wives, kids, and seniors, and flee, he shared with BBC Urdu's Mohammed Zubair. His quick thinking spared dozens. In the northwestern Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, the peril took a new twist. In Gadoon, our BBC crew spotted villagers clawing through boulder piles with bare hands. A cloudburst, a rapid, intense downpour from a sudden uplift of humid air, sparked an early morning flash flood, as a local official explained. The surge demolished homes and set off a landslide. Volunteers from nearby areas rushed in, offering crucial aid, but it fell short. Heavy machinery, urgently needed, was stranded on roads clogged by waters and enormous stones. "We're stuck until those excavators show up," one man lamented to the BBC. Then, an eerie hush fell. A group of men froze as 2 children's bodies, caked in dark sludge, were unearthed and carried off. Such grim scenes echoed throughout the province, with rescue efforts hampered by fallen trees and wrecked infrastructure. Tragically, a helicopter ferrying relief supplies crashed in the stormy conditions, killing its entire crew. Constructing homes in flood-prone zones. Across towns and rural areas, millions reside near rivers and streams, spots inherently risky for flooding. Pakistan's River Protection Act aims to curb this by banning structures within 200 feet, about 61 meters, of waterways. Yet, for many, relocating proves financially unfeasible. Unregulated building exacerbates the problem. Climate expert Fahad Saeed attributes this to rampant local bribery and lax enforcement by authorities. He vented to the BBC in Islamabad, gesturing at a half-finished, 4-story concrete monstrosity the size of a parking lot, perched right beside a stream that flooded this summer and claimed a child's life. "We're just a short drive from the parliament, and this is still happening in Pakistan," he exclaimed, clearly exasperated. "It's down to poor governance, the government should act as a guardian." Former Climate Minister Senator Sherry Raymond, who heads the Senate's Climate Committee, labels it corruption or outright turning a blind eye when permits are issued for risky developments. But here's where it gets controversial. Is the blame solely on greedy officials and developers, or does the global community share responsibility for pressuring developing nations into compromises? Could stricter international aid tied to environmental safeguards force change, or would it just deepen inequities? Pakistan's vital farmland underwater. By late August, in the southern Punjab province, waters engulfed 4,500 villages, drowning Pakistan's breadbasket, a region critical to a nation that sometimes struggles to import sufficient food. For the first time, 3 major rivers, the Sutlej, Ravi, and Chenab, overflowed at once, sparking the biggest evacuation effort in decades. It was the standout irregularity, noted Syed Mohammad Tayyab Shah, Chief Risk Officer at the National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA. In Punjab's capital, Lahore, the divide between rich and poor hit home. The upscale Parkview city enclave was swamped by the Ravi River, turning its fancy streets into impassable quagmires. Wealthy residents had to flee their posh abodes. Inspecting the ruins, locals Abdullah and his dad Gulreyes were optimistic, crediting property mogul and federal minister Alim Khan with swift drainage. "No worries, Alim Khan's got this," Gulreyes assured the BBC. Yet in the less affluent theme park district, the ordeal was soul-crushing. A local official recounted repeatedly saving folks who swam back into their homes as waters receded, scavenging belongings, only to get trapped when floods surged anew. "We witnessed one man emerging from his house with an inflatable tube slung over his hip. Others relocated to tents set up by the Al-Khidmat Foundation Pakistan. Under the blistering sun, expectant mother Sumaira, mere weeks from delivery, looked frail. "My doctor insists I need 2 blood transfusions this week," she said, clutching her little one, Arsh. Close by, young Ali Ahmad juggled a kitten he'd pulled from the deluge on his shoulder. He was among the lucky few with a mattress. By monsoon season's close, over 2.7 million Punjab residents were uprooted, per UN reports, with more than 1 million hectares of cropland ruined. Deeper south in Multan district, a perennial flood target, the humanitarian emergency loomed large, with makeshift camps dotting dirt roads and highways. Healthcare access was spotty even before in rural Pakistan, but floods made it nigh impossible, especially for women we encountered. BBC Urdu's Tar Hubaskar interviewed 2 sisters-in-law, both full-term pregnant. Their doctor cautioned they were dehydrated. They lifted a bottle, the water inside was murky brown. Seeking viable fixes. Innovators are exploring alternatives. Architect Yasmin Lari has crafted climate-adaptive homes for numerous villages. In Pono, near Hyderabad, locals demonstrated self-built huts, a spacious round structure on stilts. Dr. Lari describes it as a community hub where families can stash possessions and hunker down. She contends that elevating whole villages isn't practical or affordable. Her designs focus on sturdy roofs and eco-friendly materials like bamboo and lime, allowing quick rebuilds by residents. Pakistan's at a crossroads, she stresses, where it's no longer about protecting property, it's about preserving human lives. This sums up the nation's plight. Every climate scientist and policymaker we consulted predicts a bleak outlook.